So months ago, I put this post up on Facebook that said, hey, I'm a skeptic and I got this paranormal show and I'm constantly skeptical about everything, obviously, from what we're talking about here.
Uh-huh.
And then I said, but I think we might actually need to free Britney. And like, I felt like I was kind of joking, but I was also kind of serious after I had watched that show about her. And then here we are looking at that situation going on. What's your takes on this?
I should think a skeptic would want to free Britney.
I enjoy that topic perhaps more than any other topic because it kind of filters psychology, it filters occultism and magic and symbolism and ritual into the music industry, and just like a long list of things that we could go into. But for time's sake, I guess I could, for response, keep it pretty simple. I don't particularly like pop music. I don't particularly like Britney Spears or, Lady Gaga or any of the other pop stars. And I'm actually very critical of a lot of them, like Billie Eilish and, even those that aren't pop stars, but people like Taylor Swift, because I notice, from Britney Spears to any of these other pop stars, they might do their own independent music for a while, or they'll pump out music from, a record label, and it's all very similar. And it's the same standard stuff about, their partnership or their boyfriend or a bad relationship, or something funny about pop culture, a fun song or something sexual. Things have become much more sexual. But things have changed a lot in the pop industry. And I think it all relates to it all relates to her conservatorship. Think about it like this. Like, Britney Spears was in the Mickey Mouse Club. She was pretty much raised as a Disney kid, like a lot of others, including Sabrina Carpenter, who's another pop star that isn't very well known. And when she was in the Mickey Mouse Club, she was very, very young. Now we just think about Disney. There was just another Disney sting operation in Florida where a bunch of Disney employees were arrested for child pornography, child sex abuse, things like that. This has happened repeatedly in Disney, from music directors to producers and directors of movies. People that have not even been accused, people that have been directly convicted of raping children, of torturing children, of videoing the rape. Back in the 90s, a Disney director who directed the movie Powder. Like, Disney is ripe and full of that. Just like the Catholic churches, just like, in most major reports on pedophilia and child abuse, it's not the random pedophile down the street. It's the teacher. It's the psychologist. It's the person who abuses you. It's the people that use fantasy. What's that?
I said the people with institutional power.
People with institutional power, people who use institutions that allow them to get access to the vulnerable. And Disney is a great example, because Disney, maybe more than anything else in our society, Disney is just, about princesses and about, fantasy and about fairy tales. And that confuses children, especially if you raise a child in that environment and you don't, teach them the difference between fantasy and reality. It can really confuse a kid, just like, anything else could, though, to be fair. And so I don't know. I think back when Britney Spears was first beginning in the late 90s, and, they kind of promoted her as this hypersexualized schoolgirl. And then after she signed her first record deal in the early 2000s, she got real sexual real quick once she, reached, I think she was like 19, 20, 21 years old around the time she released the I'm a Slave for You video. And it's like, well, these girls and these people in the industry, they're trying to break the image of being a child star or being young, and they want to come into their sexuality. But I always find that strange, because as time has gone on, because the general public accepted that sexualization of Britney Spears, and I'm by no means arguing this from a conservative standpoint, but to some degree, it certainly does give little girls and little boys wrong expectations for sexuality. And since we've accepted that, over the years, we've gone from that to Billie Eilish, Poppy, or that Poppy as she's known, Mariah Rose, and this other singer who's kind of well known named Jasmine Bean. That's her name. And she is not even like, none of these girls are like hypersexual young girls. Like, Billie Eilish covers herself up, and a lot of her music, although it's argued that it's just psychological, if you listen to the lyrics and watch some of the videos, it's not even that it's psychological. It's literally drawing on imagery from black books or ancient grimoires of black magic. There's literally a reference to an old grimoire in one of her songs called where she's got the crown and the spiders, you should see me in a crown. That imagery of her in the crown with the spiders is literally a depiction of the demon Baal in a late 1800s grimoire called the Dictionary Infernal, written by Colin de Plancy. So it's like over the years from Britney Spears to Billie Eilish and Nat Poppy and Jasmine Bean, we've gone from like kind of degrading but freeing the sexuality of the female and our culture and society to looking at things in pop music that aren't even about sexuality. It's about creating monsters and glorifying abuse. And that to me is wrong.